Welcome once again to Sim Action Cars Review channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, press the bell button and also, comment down below. In today's video, we'll be reviewing the Mercedes-Maybach Off-Road, so sit down, relax, grab a drink and I'll tell you everything you need to know about this car. Mercedes-Benz as of late appeared the undertaking Maybach rough terrain driver idea, quite possibly of its most stunning in year. The vehicle is a joint effort between Gorden Wagener, the brand's main plan official, and Virgil Abloh, the organizer behind Grayish and previous imaginative overseer of Louis Vuitton. Abloh died in 2021 after a fight with a forceful type of malignant growth, making the Maybach Wilderness Romper one of his last at any point projects. The vehicle is a world away from anything that Maybach has divulged previously, offering both super restrictive extravagance and a level of off-road common sense that is typically saved for campers or overland SUVs. It's a regularly eccentric piece of Abloh's plan, taking impacts from places that Maybach typically wouldn't dream of. Likewise, brimming with little subtleties add character to the vehicle, yet it's barely noticeable a large portion of them from the start. The Maybach Wilderness Romper is just a show vehicle, and it's profoundly far-fetched to at any point turn into a creation reality. However, this absence of creation imperatives empowered Wagener and Abloh to tear up the rulebook and load the vehicle with probably the most out-of-control highlights of any idea in ongoing memory. The primary thing to note about the Maybach rough terrain driver idea is exactly the way that different it looks from any past Maybach model. Since Mercedes-Benz restored the brand when the new century rolled over, Maybachs have been founded on the top-rated S-Class limousine, and they have imparted a ton of visual likenesses to their less elite cousins. Abloh's idea is a world away, with an extraordinary, nearly Rolls-Royce-style front end, and columns of driven radiance lights that component on both the bull bars and the rooftop rack of the vehicle. Assuming there's one thing that ordinary Maybachs and Virgil Abloh's Grayish offer in like manner, it's the requirement for noticeable marking on their items as a whole. The Maybach 4x4 fan idea is the same, with Maybach logos tracked down all around the outside and inside of the vehicle. The conventional logo is viewed as mounted to the front of the vehicle instead of Mercedes' typical TriStar, and at the back, the Maybach name is imprinted in the brand's unmistakable typeface. The front and back lights additionally have unmistakable Maybach logos in the middle, which light up close by the external radiances. Move into the inside and things are similarly brand weighty, with the controlling wheel showing the logo and the seats additionally highlighting conspicuous marking on the sides. As a matter of fact, glimpsing any place inside the vehicle and not see a logo somewhere is troublesome. In numerous ways, it seems like the vehicle is intelligent of the latest things in design, as logomania has become one of the most questionable yet enduringly famous elements to rise out of contemporary style houses. Abloh's previous work in the area had a vital impact in promoting those patterns, so it appears to be fitting that he brought that unmistakable component of his plan with him to his auto work. While the vast majority of the marking on the vehicle is intended to help tenants and spectators to remember the esteemed status of Maybach's most recent creation, there are some quirkier contacts to the plan, too. Implanted into the side of the vehicle simply behind the driver's seat is a Maybach marked hatchet, complete with a glass cover including "Crisis Utilize" as it were lettering. It's a down-to-earth expansion to the vehicle in principle, in spite of the fact that, can we just be real for a minute, the possibilities of any Maybach proprietor truly being in a circumstance where they need to depend on slashing out with a hatchet is essentially zero. Maybe it's a smart discourse on the eventually unnecessary nature of most very good quality extravagance vehicle highlights, or maybe Virgil just thought the possibility of an underlying hatchet in a Maybach car was entertaining. One way or another, it joins the armies of other marked things in the vehicle, which incorporate a tool compartment that slides into the scramble, a sprinkling of modern-looking checks, and, surprisingly, the fasteners that keep the seats intact. There's no moving away from the way that this is one of the most Maybach-marked Maybachs made. In numerous extravagance vehicles, security highlights like roll confines are an unattractive need, stowed away by decisively positioned support points and lashings of calfskin or cleaned metal. The Maybach 4x4 junkie idea flips that thought on its head, wearing its crude but effective roll confine on its outside so anyone might be able to see. The construction of the enclosure ascends from the hood of the vehicle and stretches as far as possible over the traveler lodge, keenly integrating a rooftop rack with space for a few bags or different bits of gear. The sun-powered chargers are entwined with yet more Maybach logos, and their colored completion makes them mix in nearly consistently with the remainder of the hood. It's been brought up by industry examiners that adding sunlight-based chargers to vehicles isn't generally pretty much as harmless to the ecosystem as it would appear, as the boards are simply ready to create a tiny measure of force. That power can without much of a stretch be consumed by the additional AC strain brought about by leaving a vehicle out in the sun practically the entire day to charge it. Vehicle-mounted sunlight-based chargers may be a misguided thought practically speaking, yet all things considered, it's fascinating to perceive how Abloh had the option to unnoticeably add them in without compromising the general look of the vehicle. Closed by some profoundly cleaned aluminum, that is to a great extent it concerning inside materials for the Maybach 4x4 fan. As opposed to highlighting a huge scope of materials looking for extreme plushness, it appears to be Abloh's methodology was to keep things straightforward, zeroing in on the nature of the couple of sorts of finish that were utilized more than the amount. With such a strange generally plan, it would be simply right to expect the Wilderness Romper Idea's dashboard to be similarly brimming with shocks. It doesn't dishearten, as without skipping a beat, an unmistakable, and exceptionally glossy, brake button is situated to one side of the guiding wheel rather than a customary electronic stopping brake. A circular compass is incorporated into the scramble on the contrary side of the vehicle, and between the two is a board with different switches and fastens that can be pivoted to uncover an enormous screen. On the off chance that it were a completely working vehicle, this screen would probably be where the vehicle's infotainment frameworks and settings like environment control could be changed, yet since it's just to look good, tenants can play an exceptionally made computer game on it all things considered. It's a slick component, yet one that is not novel, as Tesla likewise offers various games in its creation vehicles. There have been a few inquiries raised around the security of this component, however Tesla chief Elon Musk has proceeded with improvement notwithstanding, in any event, promising Steam combination sooner rather than later. The vehicle's UI will likewise be remarkable, with parts of the MBUX framework altered with changes that Abloh picked himself. Mercedes likewise implied that different components of Abloh's plan work on the idea could make it into a creation Maybach one day, saying, "We say thanks to Virgil Abloh for the motivation to investigate consistently the force of cross-industry exchange to envision a superior, more comprehensive future." I'm glad that you now fully understand this vehicle. Would you kindly do me the favor of subscribing to this channel and pressing the notification bell button so that you are notified as soon as we upload another video like this. Thank you.